Bobby's inside and he's trying to fit his dry sump pump. It's not going well. I mean, we'll go in there and have a look and he'll explain to you and you will soon see it's not going well. So let's go in and have a look at what he's doing in there. You'll probably spot the problem very quickly. And it's not just Bobby. There's other problems. Where's the pump? Where's the pump? Here's the pump. Bloody nice, mind. He's very nice, mind. I'm gonna have a look, Stanley. What's going on here?
We've had a bit of a technical issue. We dummied up the whole 2J, manifolds, turbo, throttle body, charge cooler, all fits. May have overlooked one thing, the dry sump setup. This guy doesn't quite fit in the chassis rails, which is not a huge problem. As you can see, we're not adverse to notching chassis rails. Now, it wasn't a problem, but we got to drive the oil pump off the nose of the crank. So we put the rack in, which I've mic'd up. The rack, while in, touches the centerpiece of the crank damper, the boss. Here we go. This is the depth of the rack. That's where she sits, which is close.
But luckily that's all you've got to put on there, isn't it? So we don't really have to worry. We'll just skim a little bit off of that face and she'll fit nice.
We got some problem. We didn't quite finish yet. Because we need this guy.
Ah, yeah, right, I see. So what we're saying is we need to gain like 20 mil on there. If we can gain 20 mil out of this, it'll work.
We got another problem there.
Ah, right, so what we need to gain is 200 mil, and that will still fit in there.
Or a bendy rack.
Or a bendy rack, or a flyby rack.
Our next problem, rear mount rack. Close to the shockeys, close everywhere, but works. We go front rack, we have to move the shockeys. We move the shockeys, we're gonna have to put them in the middle of the A-arms. The minute we go to the middle of the A-arms, we're over 1.5 inches away from our original E-Type pickup point. Plus we need to find another rack. The hubs will change left to right, that's not a problem. We can get bolt-on steering arms, but we then have to move the pickup point for the track rod end, where it is being a rear rack, is away from the disc, push it right to the disc to keep the steering lock, Ackerman, everything right. Ideally we need to keep the rack where it is. Here's the plan. Come.
Steering box.
We're not rolling the steering box out yet. I'm not going to take an all-over measurement because I find out that it still won't fit and I won't try it. So I'm going to try anyway. Let's have this off. We will. Our auxiliary pulley is a 6 rib, designed to drive water pump, alternator, possibly power steering. Only needs to drive the alternator now. Can't see we need that many ribs. We'll turn 2, maybe 3 off. Then we will probably machine 2 to 3 mil off this face. We'll machine our ATI hub down so this pulley is just a couple of thou away from this pickup point. Now, that's not going to be all we need. So then, once we've got that back as far as we can get it, front load this. Our oil pump drive. He is a bit long. First thing you notice is section. We also have a big hex head so we can turn the motor over. Well, we can't get a bar in there to turn the motor over anyway. Whenever we need to turn it over, we'll do it in gear off the wheels. We have no part. The majority of this, binned off. We'll probably just leave the outer edge to guide the belt. Next bit. One pulley, necessary. Keyway out. One spacer. Bin, we don't need it. Only trouble is the spacer had a taper machined in it. We can't completely remove this taper because we're machined on the inside. We're not gonna have much meat left. So we're gonna remove a smidgen of this taper, put a smidgen of taper in this, obviously put the keyway back in. We're gonna machine the back of it right down to where it goes from bolt head in the countersunk to thread, then rematch this chamfer, replicate it a little bit down further. If that's not enough, this is naughty. It's quite a thick belt, mate.
I could blade some of that off.
He's not a supercharger, he's an oil pump. Plus the bonnet's up a lot. We can inspect him quite a lot. I don't want to say we'll half in. We'll have a third of him. And if he's close, we might half him. Then we'll half the pulley. And we'll just keep spare belt. Then we're gonna put the whole lot back in and realise we're probably still 2 inches out. But you gotta try. You gotta try. Because no matter what anyone says, these lie. They lie. And everything can have a, what's the word? What's the posh word? Not hack it up, not cut up with a grinder.
Cut and sharp.
No. Everything can have a linish. So when things are close, we'll give this guy a linish, we'll give that guy a linish, everyone will be linished up and everyone's gonna be a big linish party and it's just gonna work handsome. And that's about where we're to.
You linish built the front of this.
We linish off the front of the block.
Yeah.
To bring the
whole face back.
face off.
Yeah.
Face off.
We've got a 4H.
Oh, he fit nice.
Who made this?
Toyota. Well, I don't know the actual guy, but
What's
yeah,
Toyota?
Toyota. He's Toyota as well.
They will fit. They... Face off.
Put John Travolta in there.
We got this.
And I'll have Nicolas Cage in the Corolla. We've done all the other options, haven't we? This is the best one so far. We want about running it down here and the alternator off somewhere else and putting a PTO on it.
Bump start. Dynamos on the wheels for charging. Take a rolling road to the track with you. Oil pump off the prop. They all have not obvious downsides, not obvious. You have to look into them. Obviously, when your wheels stop turning, you have no oil pressure, which a lot wouldn't.
You wouldn't need it on either anyway, would you?
I mean, you look at a Rover V8. What do you need? What do you need? 0.75 psi
of oil pressure.
Of oil pressure at 5,000 RPM, and they throw rods out a lot.
Left, right,
a
centre.
A lot.
I ain't got no more to say than that, really. So we're starting out putting the bits back on that we've had machined to see if the steering rack's going to fit. You see we've taken it down to a 3 rib now, and Bobby's just put the dampener on.
Oh, that's going to fit nice. That's going to fit nice. Everything's been machined. Look how much further away that is.
You don't look very happy with it. You shook your head. You're shaking your... So what have we had off there? We've had about 1.5 inches off.
Well, the 6 rib gone down to a 3 rib. We've had a load of meat off the back of the hub. Like the mandrel hub for the ATI damper.
I mean, that's almost touching there and you haven't got the drive for the oil pump on yet.
Ah, yeah, but maybe the oil pump drive, he might sneak under the rack. But, look, there's me trying to sort of rack.
You're twisting the rack because the pipes were in the way,
yeah,
weren't
the
they?
unions, the outlets and inlets, the high pressure ones are a bit in the way. So
twisting the body of the rack.
Yeah,
right?
you know me, I'm keen for a twister. And that's going to work out nice for me. It's gone.
Is that, you happy with that?
Yeah, hang on.
Oh yeah, it's moved quite far.
Do we look happy? I'm not sure.
No, I'm still unsure if you're happy with that.
I'm happy with
let's put that back in and see if that has helped. Because there was that big lump on the bottom there that was hitting the oil.
I got some cream for that.
We also
get smaller.
We also took 6 mil off of the back.
No, that's not me. You're
Off
starting
the mounts. You're allowed to say that.
off the mounts.
Yeah.
What, of the rack?
Yeah. We linished a few mil off of the mounts of the rack to try and gain a little bit more space, and that also.
And the rack was made by Germans, so it was over-engineered to be strong.
You can't say that.
Why?
I don't know. Right there. That's nowhere even near, is it?
Get out! It's in there.
It's not in there.
It's in. The rack's in.
The belt's just gonna rub against the rack and it's gonna snap.
Just don't turn the motor over. Stance Nation, yo. Yeah.
So we've gone through all that machine work and it hasn't. It's look how pissed off you are.
That's my happy face. I don't like to share my happy face, so I cover it with my hands.
So we're gonna have to rethink this because you're not gonna be able to run that hub, are you? Because that's not gone well.
We are gonna have to rethink this.
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts on this?
I think we should rethink it.
All right. Over to me, is it?
Over to you to sort that out.
Ah, nice.
Right, see, I'm going back
to
some rubbing down.
Walking off.
You can fix this problem.
Ricky Bobby, you failed. I'm going to make a cup of tea.
Just got back from Pause, the man who we used to do our machine work. This is all to do with that front hub where we were trying to gain some space. So here's the original, which we'd already cut. That was about that long before, so we'd already machined that down, but it didn't leave us with a lot of keyway, and we were still too close to the steering rack So he has machined us up a new hub. So you can see what we've had done here. We've basically had 15mm more taken off of the back from that one. And then we've added 30mm onto the inside. So we've got more keyway onto the crank. And then also, I can't remember if you've seen this already or not, but we've had the pulley for the alternator machined down from a 6 rib to a 3 rib. And on top of that, we've had the drive pulley for the oil pump machined off of the back. There was a taper in there that we've machined off as well. And Paul's made us a new thinner washer and like retainer for the belt. Nick will come in, fit it all in a minute, and we'll see if we've gained enough space for it all to work. Yeah, it's exciting stuff. So a quick update on where we are at with getting everything to fit on the front end. Bobby's nearly ready to put the head on, so we'll just run through a couple of little bits that we've done. Extra as well as the hub. Because you've already seen the hub that we had to shorten down, but there was also another problem when we went to put the oil pump pulley, which is there. That was hitting, or the bolt, your crank bolt was protruding past the damper, so we've had to have a little bit of a machine on that one as well. And you can see how shallow it is now. Where's the original one that we had? Quite a lot off of that. And then also we had a bit of grief. Bobby will tell you now about the timing mark. He's not going to tell you about it because he's playing with his keyway.
I don't want to lose my keyway.
So there's the new pointer for the timing, which were you saying that it was right in the way of the tensioner because we moved everything back?
No, it's in its factory position. I was hoping it was kind of going to be here, and we could have drilled into the billet alley and just put a pointer in. We've obviously gone for the upgraded billet tensioner. Didn't want to use the hydraulic ram, so we made a little plate underneath in steel, captive nut, put it on metric fine thread so we can get a better adjustment. Obviously with another lock nut underneath it so we can cap it off. So unfortunately, TDC, if I go and get it, there she is. Comes right where our tensioner is. Means we can't put anything, obviously, into the back plate. So as we'd already made a steel adapter for the cam belt tensioner, you just welded a bracket on the side, DTI'd the piston, found top dead. This little pointer here, we stole off a mate who come off his small block Chevy drag car. But the beauty with this one, elongated holes. So ever we get any movement, the bracket moves slightly, we have the tensioner off, we can always DTI it again and dial back in true top dead wherever we want. Decided to go electric water pump. That way we can run without a thermostat, which makes life a lot easier around the back here. The water pumps are quite messy on a 2J. The whole system over here, which is where our steering rack is. So we obviously had this alley plate made. We've had it made quite thick, obviously because the cam belt is going to be slightly in the way. So the more meat we've got, we can Dremel into it at an angle and get a -16 union on there, straight out the front.
And you got the oil pump bit on.
Oh yeah.
We haven't seen that yet.
The oil pump mounting.
To remake all of that.
Is now, it's a kind of a composite, but not like you'd know it, not like carbon fibre. Apparently this comes from the forest. Comes out the ground, they chop it up.
And you just shape it up.
You just shape it up.
Just shape that to whatever you want.
Yeah.
So what you CNC in there, Bobby?
Try some pump brackets. He don't fit. He half fit, but we mirror down. We need to mirror up. Test plate. Let's get stuff to fit. Template. Gar.
So you're going to try it with the wood first, and then I'm going to get a block of alley, and you're going to try and jigsaw out the alley as well.
Depends. Hang on.
Oh, he's perfect.
Depending on how good the cut is, we might get Charles to paint heat black. Yeah. And then if you get the first bit wrong, which we did, you just go out to the forest and you chop some more down and you shake the next bit up.
Other than that, obviously we're about to put the head on. Going on.
One second.
So this sticker here, the head gasket company.
Athena.
That made it. Why have you chosen that?
This is what they call, I think it's a 3300 series, something like that. I'd have to go back and look. It looks like we've gone really tight and not put a steel metal head gasket on it. We've actually gone a little stage further. This is quite cool. Your compression ring, fire ring, whatever you'd like to call it. If you zoom in on there, that's a stainless steel ring with 3 knife edges on it, which obviously, when aluminium head's bolted onto it, bite into the head, stop any kind of movement, and just gets a better seal on it. Not played with one before. Looking forward to see how it does.
And they just sitting there loosely?
Literally just sitting there loose, because we're not running a metal head gasket. We don't need any kind of sealant on it, anything like that. This will seal up perfect on its own.
Nice.
For applications over 2 bar. Thank you. I did do them in circular order. They've all done 100 now. I'm just going around and rechecking them
Of course you did.
before anyone complains.
Or you just do it from front to back?
No, went out that side and come down that side. Complete circle.
Do you not just windy gun them on?
I did before you got here.
So what are we doing next?
Well, I'll put a bit of Joe Gibbs snot in there because he's got the minerals in him. Drop the cams in, drop the front seals in. We'll drop the inlet on and see how much room we've got over here for a dry sump tank.
You need to take the lid off.
I'll take the lid off, man.
As you've seen from the video there, we've had a little bit of problems getting that. Well, who would have thought that a Toyota Supra dry sump kit
For Toyota 2J.
wouldn't fit
He fitted on the engine stand.
in the engine stand, didn't fit into a E-Type. So next week we are hoping, if all goes to plan, we should be able to get the bracket that Bobby cut out of wood made into an actual
Composite.
thing we can use.
Composite.
And get the pump back on and move that because it's hitting the chassis rail. But we are having a little bit of grief with getting parts and bringing parts into the country. So it's going to be a continued video, this one. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be next week. We're waiting for some bits from the States, aren't we?
Basically, the video that's about to say to be continued will be continued. But it has turned into a bit of a cluster. So next week you might have something completely different, but we will come back to this.
I'm hopeful that next week we might have the bits.
But just look, just because they said 2 to 3 weeks, weeks over there are the same as weeks here. It's not like US gallons and UK gallons. It don't work like that.
What?
When they say 2 to 3 weeks, that's the same as our weeks.
Yeah, but I've seen their TV shows and they build a whole car in 3 weeks.
So do we.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Basically, due to us leaving the Germans, or whatever happened, or
Brexit.
Megxit, or Brexit, Megxit, I don't know. And that cold that's going about at the moment.
Cold.
Everyone's running around, there's people with running noses, they're locking themselves in their house, no one wants to go to work, pack up parts and send them to me.
But they're coming, so this will be continued. Hopefully you enjoyed it. The next one, it gets even more tricky and involved. Overnight parts from a couple villages away.
Yeah, yes.
They did turn up.
They did turn up, because you can rely on your local wingman.
Yep. Say it then. Come on, this is 8 videos in, you can say it.
Click. Acknowledge.
Like and subscribe. Thank you. Look at that.